So yesterday, the Lakers put on an absolute clinic. Now, look, it's the Charlotte Hornets, so I don't want to get too high on this win, right? I want to see, what do you do against the Minnesota Timberwolves on the road? What do you do against the New Orleans Pelicans after you just embarrassed them the last meeting, right? And they're going to be looking for revenge. They're going to be looking to get back at you for the embarrassment that they suffered. The Minnesota Timberwolves playing excellent basketball, number 1 seed in the Western Conference, right? They have been just excellent, right? You just lost to them. Now you're playing them on the road again. You haven't been a good road team. I need to see the Lakers translate the success that they've had against the bad teams into the good teams. I've said it. Lakers are a good team. They're not great. They're not elite, right? They're better than the bad teams. They've beaten all of the bad teams. The only bad team that they lost to was the San Antonio Spurs, and that was without Anthony Davis, which I've already explained on numerous videos, the impact and how you can't replicate that, right? So I don't really knock them for that loss. As soon as Anthony Davis sat, I said they were going to lose, right? But outside of that, they've basically blown out all the bad teams. Like everybody, they've just ran through, right? And even most of the good teams, like middle of the pack teams, they've beaten. The only real notable win against a top team has been the Thunder, right? So they need to go and prove it against some of the better teams. Again, Minnesota would be a nice place to start. But you got to give the Lakers credit. This was the game that I have been screaming and preaching for them to continue to play. When the Lakers play this way, you're not beating them. They're going to win a lot more games than otherwise. And what do I mean by that? Obviously, shooting 50% from 3 helps, but it was also the quality looks, the looks that they were getting. And I don't even necessarily need them to shoot 50% from 3. It's everything else. Shot 100% from the free throw line. You kept the turnovers low. You rebound the ball well, right? You created turnovers and fast break opportunities. You had 41 assists. If you've followed me, if you subscribe to me, whether it's this Lakers channel or As It Stands Lakers, done the live streams, whatever, you have heard me preach sharing and moving the basketball. If I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, but the Lakers have not lost a game if they've gotten more than 30 assists. They average about 27 a game. They've had some games where they've gotten 28 and 29 and lost, but I don't believe that they've lost a game where they've gotten over 30 assists. And that's because you can't stop them, right? You have Anthony Davis dominating down low. He's a constant threat that you have to worry about, right? So you always have to double him when he gets the ball in the post, and his ability to kick it out and share and move the basketball. And then LeBron James constantly being a threat, especially when his outside shot is falling, right? You have to just account for him as well. And it just opens up so much more for everyone else, especially when guys are hitting shots. But even when they're not hitting shots, to just move the basketball and share the basketball, you're trading a good look for an even better look. You saw guys like Jackson Hayes come in and in 7 minutes get 10 points because everyone just forgot about him because the ball's moving so frequently and he's a constant lob threat that they were just throwing it up and he was bringing it home, right? You had D'Angelo Russell out here putting on a clinic. You had Austin Reeves, same thing. That's the difference. You have Austin Reeves out here cooking and embarrassing people. The energy was high, right? The bench and excitement. Something that I talked about with the 2020 team was do you remember that group? How they celebrated on the bench and how they played for each other and how, if somebody hit the ground, the entire bench would run over and pick the guy up. Right? You can't do some of that stuff now. The NBA is really kind of clamping down on just some of the celebrations and, and leaving the bench to go on the court and stuff. But even then, you could still do things like we saw today, the celebration, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and everyone, copying Austin Reeves' little behind the back move, right? It's just this is the Lakers. This is the Lakers team that I believe can win a championship if they play this way. Now, I'm not saying that they still need a trade, without a doubt. They still could use a trade. They still have blatant holes and issues. But even if they don't, right? Let's say the Lakers just stand pat. I've said it. Give me a healthy LeBron James and Anthony Davis in the playoffs. I will take my chances. The only team that has ever beaten a healthy, or not healthy LeBron James, the only team that has ever beaten LeBron James and Anthony Davis in the playoffs is the Denver Nuggets, right? Phoenix, you got to remember, Anthony Davis got hurt after they were up 2-1. The Lakers were up 2-1. He gets hurt and Phoenix came back. Otherwise, Phoenix was losing that series. They had no answer for AD. They were down 2-1. Lakers were looking like they were about to blow them out and go up 3-1. And then AD gets hurt. It changed everything, right? Outside of that, in the playoffs, nobody's gotten them, right? Denver beat them, but LeBron James needed surgery, and Anthony Davis wasn't even supposed to play because he had an injury. And D'Lo, too, if you want to bring him into it, but this is just mostly LeBron James and Anthony Davis. So again, you give me those two in a 7-game series. They're the only teams that I worry about in a 7-game series in the Western Conference, right, would be the Denver Nuggets and the Minnesota Timberwolves, because they have the size to match up and they're just playing really good basketball, right? Outside of that, the Thunder, they're too small. The Lakers will beat them. The Kings, I just don't have. I think in a 7-game series, their style of play is not built for the playoffs. I think the Lakers handle it, get it done. Over with Dallas, same thing. Pelicans, not worried about. Warriors, Lakers already handle Warriors. Suns, they'll handle the Suns. I'm not worried about the Suns. Rockets, too young, too inexperienced. They're not going to happen, right? Literally, the Clippers maybe could be a problem, but again, I'm not sold on it. Every year the Clippers are supposed to be something. Every year they're nothing, right? The Clippers I just don't believe in until proven otherwise, right? So the only teams that I worry about is obviously Denver, because Denver's Denver, and then the Timberwolves again, because they have size, versatility, got good depth. They're excellent at home, right? Which they would have home court. They're a tough matchup for it. Minnesota's a tough matchup for any team in the league, right? So, and then the only team in the Eastern Conference I really worry about is the Celtics. I don't think the Bucks have the defense to slow down the Lakers, and I do think the Lakers have the defense to kind of make things difficult for the Bucks. And they've had a lot of their concerns and questions too. So basically 3 teams are the teams that I'm worried about if the Lakers make the playoffs. Now, obviously the Lakers have to make the playoffs, right? If they continue to struggle. Plus, we've also seen what the Lakers look like in a playoff environment, and they were excellent, right? They were undefeated, 7-0. I know people say, they didn't play. They still played Phoenix, Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, things like that. But I digress. What I loved about this game was that the defense, the intensity, all the minutes were low, right? The most minutes played were D'Angelo Russell with 29. Then you had Rui in second with 28. Everyone else was 24 to 80, had 26. And that's perfect, right? This Darvin Ham, before I get into the depth thing, Darvin Ham did an excellent job in this game, right? I thought his rotations were great. I thought he let guys marinate. I thought he made sure everybody ate. Everyone that played scored. Literally, we had, 11 guys play, and all 11 guys scored. So, I love that, right? Everybody ate. Shared the basketball. 41 assists. That's ridiculous. Any team gets 41 assists, they're probably winning that game. Because, again, the ball is just flowing. Nothing sticking, right? And this is what the Lakers' depth can do. You had, You had 8 guys and 7 guys in double figures, but you had Wood with 9 points. So nearly 8 guys in double figures, right? 4 bench players in double figures. That's what you need. You played some Christian Wood. You had a nice balance of guys. No one played too heavy minutes. Everyone contributed. Everyone played a role. Everyone played a part. That's what this depth was supposed to do. That Charlotte game was exactly what this Lakers team was meant to be and meant to do. Everyone minutes gets to play low. LeBron James and Anthony Davis, both of them. Darvin Ham didn't want to do that, but you got to remember, Anthony Davis got into foul trouble, right? Picked up that 4th foul midway through the 3rd or like, 2/3 of the way into the third, right? So he had to sit out, and then they had to get LeBron James some rest because you're not going to play him the entirety. Lakers were up, 11 at that point? And the bench ended up extending the lead, putting the game away, chalked it up, and LeBron James and Anthony Davis didn't have to play the rest of the game. They got to sit out the entire fourth and like half of the third, like a quarter and a half. LeBron James and Anthony Davis didn't have to play. LeBron James played 25 minutes. AD played 26 minutes. Now, I'm not saying that they're going to do that every game. There are going to be games where they might have to play 35 minutes or whatever, right? And, Rui may end up going down, or, a guy has a bad game. Let's say Rui is just bad next game, right? Like, okay, sorry, Rui, you don't have it tonight. Take a rest. Like, if Darvin Ham can keep the leash short, find that proper balance, keep everyone engaged, keep everyone playing, right? Figure out what guys are best, what units work together. I don't mind a little experimentation. I've said it all season. I don't mind if they experiment a little bit, but you got to have an understanding and situational awareness. I thought Darvin Ham did a good job of that in this Hornets game. I thought the energy, the intensity, everything was... This is the Lakers team that wins a championship. I've said this before, and they just haven't been able to consistently put it together. I need to see them consistently put it together. I need to see them... If they beat Minnesota and the Pelicans, the Lakers might be the 2 or 3 seed by the end of January. Like, literally, seriously. Right? They would be... So, if the Lakers win against the Timberwolves and the Pelicans, they'd be 4 games over 500. The month of January is a ridiculously favorable Lakers schedule. Your first 5 games of January are all at home. The Lakers have been excellent at home. And those games are against Miami, the Grizzlies, the Clippers, the Raptors, the Suns. And yes, that sounds tough, right? Ja Morant's back with the Grizzlies. They're playing. But the Lakers can beat the Grizzlies. The Lakers can beat the Heat. Clippers, Lakers already took care of them once. The Raptors should be a win. And the Lakers have had the Suns' number, right? And they're all at home. Then you have a Jazz road game, which is a very winnable game on the road. And then you follow that up with another 4-game, technically 5, because you play the Clippers. So you follow that up with the Thunder, the Mavericks, the Nets, the Blazers, and then the Clippers on the road, right? And then you got a Bulls game at home again. So literally, your first... 5, 10, 11 of your first 12 games of January are all at home, are all in crypto. That's where I think the Lakers really start to pull ahead and start climbing the standings. And if that happens, I mean, the Lakers could end up being 10, 12 games over 500, right? Going into like the trade deadline. And we'll see what they do there. But they gotta be consistent. Share the basketball, bring the intensity, bring the energy, play the defense, do the things, cross your T's, dot your I's. Simple. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What'd you think? How'd you feel? Did you love what you saw from the Lakers? Do you think that they can consistently put it together? Do you have your concerns? Again, however you feel, whatever your thoughts are, love to hear it. Let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out a lot. Lets me know you enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate you all. See you in the next one. Thank you.